now. Good day, everyone. And today we're going to be discussing the lesson on time management. So everybody is wondering, how do we really manage our time? Let's talk about the concept first. So time and management. So two words, time. So this means these are different specific activities that we plan to do, or what we have done, what we are doing during our 24/7 schedule. So meaning 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. And we manage such time by organizing and planning on how long we spend our activities. So the key word is how long we spend on specific activities. It may seem counterintuitive to dedicate precious time to learning about time management instead of using it to get on with your work, but the benefits are enormous. So maybe you two are wondering, why do we need to plan? We can just go ahead, do our studying, do our gym activities, plan, and aside from that, have our lunch, etc., etc. But there's also this quotation that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. A wise man once said that if we don't have a plan, then what we're doing is we're already planning to fail, because no one has control of our time but other people. So what happens there is there's less productivity and we don't have control of the situation. The opposite now is that whenever a person manages one person's time well, there is what we call greater productivity and efficiency. We go right down to business. We don't waste our precious seconds and minutes. Aside from that, we are also able to be known for our professional reputation. Like whenever an employer asks a certain staff, let's say a programmer, to do a certain website for a client, and that programmer does it to the best of his ability within a short amount of time, he was able to deliver the output to the client immediately, meaning the website was rolled out, deployed for the customer to use it already, even before the deadline. Then that programmer or developer is going to be known in that company because his boss will put in a good word for him. Another is less stress. So because we are able to predict what we're supposed to be doing right this very moment, then we don't have to worry like, what should I be doing at this time? I forgot what. So in other words, you don't waste time worrying about what you're supposed to be achieving every moment of your day-to-day activities. Aside from that, there is increased opportunities for advancement. Like I had this opportunity to chat with a senior manager of a certain global company named Accenture. And she told me, you know what? This is what I did. I had a superior who is very supportive of me, and he has a lot of jobs to do. So he has many tasks. He would go on overtime. So I told him, can I help you with your tasks? And that superior, so let's say the senior manager used to be a developer or a programmer, and then she was helping her boss, meaning could be the team lead or the project manager. So she stays after hours. Instead of going home, she helps that project manager until she was able to learn the ropes how to be a project manager herself. So what happened was the project manager endorsed her. He recommended her to also be promoted as project manager. Why? Because he says she's already doing the task of a project manager. So she also knows what to do. And then that led to history. So that programmer became a project manager. She also had another superior or boss who supported her. So let's say that is the manager. I mean, the senior manager. So she also again helped her supporters. So what she did was she was helping the one who supported her, and she was again recommended to be promoted as senior manager. And now, guess what? She is now the managing director of Accenture. So the next in line would be the owners of the company itself. So she cannot be promoted anymore. So my point is, because of her great time management, she was able to focus on the different activities that will propel her to advancement in her career. So that's another benefit of time management. Another is there are greater opportunities to achieve important life and career goals. Like if you want to have a family of your own someday, you can start building relationships that are meaningful to you. It could also be your relationships with your office mates. So the list goes on. And these are just some of the benefits of being a good time manager. Next is organization. Staying organized can help one to maintain a clear picture of what one needs to complete and when. I always like having this to-do list because I do it like before the week starts. So on a weekend, I already plot all the different deliverables, deadlines, or where I need to go for the coming week. So with that, it actually takes some of my time. It can take 30 minutes to 1 hour. It depends on how many tasks I need to subdivide into different days. But the point is, it helps me to maintain an up-to-date calendar. I know where I'm supposed to be. If it's an online class or I need to deliver the outputs on a certain deadline. And I'm also able to locate documents easily. Why? Because if I have my cloud storage, I have Dropbox, I have OneDrive, I also have the Google Drive. I know which is for work, which is for my personal files. And with that, I'm able to proceed with the deadlines. So I know where to get the files. And in the same way, a good time manager can also be an organized person by doing so. So take note, I myself am a work in progress, and I am also trying to be a good time manager. These are just some of the tips like organization and then goal setting. So somebody once said, like, he wants to be the best. So be the best that he can be. Okay. So this is broad, but this is a goal. So he wants to be the better version of himself every day until he becomes the best, right? Now, this is a goal. Another goal could be put up an IT business of my own. Someone in the past told me that he wants to have his own business. And I'm proud to say there are so many students now, well, some students who are into cryptocurrency, blockchain, and they are really maximizing the internet. So they are able to study and work at the same time. That is their goal. So set both short-term and long-term goals. If you also remember in your mock interview, I asked you, how do you see yourself 5 years from now? And that is part of your short and long-term goals. The short-term goals could be as short as 1 year, but long-term goals can even expand to as long as 10 years. Like, do you want to have your own house someday? So you can also buy your own house. So some people, they are going to be paying that for 30 years. So they have bank financing or pag-ibig financing. So look at them. They are already working on their long-term goals. So that's another goal. Aside from organization, goal setting, a good time manager is also able to communicate well with his subordinates and also with his peers. For example, I am teaching an online class right now, but there are different communication channels wherein I am able to inform my superiors what I'm doing, and if I have a certain document for their approval, we have the email and we have other communication channels. The point is, if we do not inform our boss what we're doing, they would not be able to monitor us. They will not be able to inform the client. Actually, you are our clients. You are our customers, the students. That's why we also inform you what's going on. If there are exams, if there are defenses that you need to comply with for research and the like. Now, if you're going to be in the workplace already, it's going to be different. Like, I'm sorry, I keep talking about Accenture because I used to work in Accenture's training arm in the past, which was IAC. So what we do there is we have two branches, one in Green Hills, one in Makati. And I have to be in the Green Hills office in the morning. In the afternoon, I go to Makati. My training supervisor should know where I am. So that's why we have to communicate with him. Like we call it conduct. The training, or which we call conduct, is now ongoing for the client in Makati. And it's going to be about Visual Basic. It's going to run for 5 days, half a day per session. And the client will be lawyers. So there was a time when that happened. And short story, but the point is we had a difficult client. He was asking me questions like, it's just Windows. Can you imagine? First, we were starting with Windows, how to use Windows. There's another client who asked for that conduct. And he was already in the lawyer's terminology. He was already not, yeah, that's the term, grandstanding. This is not the court. He's not there to litigate me. He's in a training session. So I had to inform my supervisor what happened, etc., etc. So how I also resolved that grandstanding participant was I quoted a phrase or a sentence from a fellow IT trainer, and it goes, in the field of technology, take note, you can encounter users like this. In the field of technology, you don't ask why. You ask when. I'm sorry, you ask how. So he was asking questions about reasons, about, it's more of open-ended answers. And I'm not there to defend Windows. I'm not Bill Gates. So I had to put him to his proper place, that he was there to learn. So I mentioned this quotation from my fellow IT trainer and so on and so forth. So I needed to communicate to the client what is going on, that this is supposed to be a 4-hour session and we need to be finished within the day. Otherwise, the rest of the lawyers in the room will not have learned what was paid for by their company. Another is it allows you to delegate, which lets you focus on completing the most important relevant tasks that align with your goals. I remember there was a time I was training and it was a new software, again from Microsoft, and I had to delegate a certain problem that I was solving. When I say problem, it was in coding. It was in, at that time, Visual Basic. And there's a bug that is still not fixed on my computer. At that time, we didn't have laptops yet. I'm older than you. So I asked the help of my fellow trainer, IT trainer, and she helped me out. So it happened that because I was training the clients, take note, these are top 400 or top 500 companies we were training. Name it. We've had, I'm sorry, I cannot disclose all of them, but just imagine all the known clients, all the known companies in the Philippines and also even in the world could also be what were our clients at that point in time, some of the global companies of the world. Then after that, that was my solution. I was able to ask for help and I got the help. So I was able to show the program. My code was already fixed since she helped me out. And I was able to show the clients that this is how they debug that particular code and show to them. I mean, I was able to show to them how the code really works. Now, communication also lands you to being a good time manager and to success. You can also see the rest of this file from the source is career advice. So this is indeed.com. That is the source of this presentation. And as I've mentioned, planning, a fundamental part of time management is planning. Like if you plan to be summa cum laude of your batch, then you have to plan. Aside from this, it also enables the achiever or the person who is aiming to be the summa cum laude. Why not, right? No, they say in Tagalog, libre ang mangarap. So there's no such thing as a wrong dream, right? Everybody is entitled to dream. And as I've mentioned, planning, like once you get on board the corporate, let's say the corporate entity or organization, it could be filled with meetings and you have to really stick to your schedule. I also learned from a certain industry partner, their meetings are left and right. So I asked them to turn on their video because we also have a meeting. I had a meeting with them. And it's just a simple video shot. I mean, simple screenshot. And they couldn't turn on their videos because they told me they haven't taken a bath yet. Their meetings were back to back to back. So as you can see, even the industry partner company representatives also had to manage their time and they were able to stick to their schedule. So I've already mentioned the delegation. When you practice delegating tasks, take note, this is not because one is lazy, huh? When you delegate, let's say you become the team lead or the project manager in the future, or even if you're a group leader in your own class activity or project, you are delegating because you know that you cannot do it since you have current tasks at hand. So while it can often be difficult to say no when someone asks you, this is a lot that I heard from the interviews which I conducted. I heard that they are finding it difficult to say no when someone asks them to do something at work. It is important to practice having boundaries to manage your time well and ultimately accomplish your goals. I'm sorry, but I need to tell you about this incident. I have a class and then I don't know why my telecom subscriber reveals my number to other third-party companies because I get calls or messages, people selling condominiums or people asking for me to purchase items. So what happens is that I have to drop the call because it's not an important call, right? So in other words, we have to say no. Like in the video, it said that choose only tasks that lead us to achieve our goals. And if you know that that's not part of your goals for that day, then you can already you can already decline that you have an ongoing work and you're sorry, you cannot continue the conversation. So something like that. So we have to be able to say no. Aside from that, excuse me. So that is why we also have to practice delegating tasks whenever we manage a project. We should not be shy to tell our subordinates. Remember, a project manager, take note, huh? If this is a global industry global company we're talking about, like Accenture, take note, the project is worth 1 million. It could be 1 million pesos. Okay, even in the other company where I used to work. So you have to know your job responsibility. You have to know your subordinates, the people under you who are supposed to deliver the project. So it could be an ERP, it could be a website, it could be even an artificial intelligent prototype that they want. Like my OJTs used to do chatbots in the past. Before the pandemic, I was able to visit them. So their superiors delegated those tasks to them because those are part of the client's requirements. So next, this is the most common of them all, stress. How do we then manage stress even while we're at home? How come we are stressed? So when practicing good time management, you should be attentive to your mental health. I'll give you 3 tips. These are what the guidance counselor in Our Lady of Fatima told me how to manage stress. Number 1, avoid stress. Number 2, adapt to the situation. And number 3, adopt. Okay, so it's different. Huh? Adapt is different from adopt. So I leave it at that. Now, it's not normal for a person not to not to experience stress. I'll put it I'll rephrase that. Everybody experiences stress. Only the crazy people do not experience stress because they are already out of their minds. So people experience stress almost every day. So what do we do? What can we do is, first, we can avoid stressful situations. If we know that person is a mega star, that person never says any good thing about the world, about himself, about other people, then stay away from people like that. They will not help you to become the best version of yourself. Another is, if you know there's traffic, let's say you need to go to Makati because you have to do whatever in Makati, then you have to check Waze. Check where are the traffic spots so that you can avoid that route and choose a different route. Even if you're commuting, there are also different ways to get to your destination. That's what my previous IT coordinator did. And that's what I learned from him. Another is, so that's the first one, avoid stress. Number 2, adapt to the situation. Like right now, everybody is in alert level 1. But then there are those who are wary of this alert level 1. They still don't like to be around many people. They still believe that there's the possible surge of COVID if many people are together at the same time. So how do they adapt to the situation? They still choose areas wherein people are not, wherein the place is not as crowded, or they bank during certain hours where people don't usually go to the bank. So that's how they adapt to the situation, how they are able to also adjust to the situation. And then, I'm sorry, I need to correct the third one. Let me just erase this. So let's do that. So again, I mentioned avoid, adapt. The last is adjust. Okay. So you have to avoid stress, adapt to the situation. The last is adjust to the situation. Or there. So the third one is adjust. If you are already aware that your boss, let's pretend you have a boss, your boss is cranky whenever in the morning, he hasn't had breakfast, no coffee at all. And then he's already, when I say cranky, irritable, he's not the happy type. So adjust to the situation. I know there are some superiors, I've seen them do this. So they know their boss is stressed because he has deadlines. What this superior, his subordinate. So what this person does is he shows pictures of funny memes to him on their communication channel, and the boss suddenly laughs. He feels better, and then they start chatting away. So that is how that person adjusted to the situation. Another is during defense. So during the capstone defense in the past, I noticed that this is although this is pre-pandemic period, I noticed that there's this proponent. He knew that I have a lot of questions for their capstone proposal, and he was already ready with his solution. He knows that the panelists may not have had breakfast at all, or maybe already we're up to this. We want to ask questions away. We want to deal with the schedule so that we can finish our job, and so on and so forth. So he asked me, "Ma'am, do you want coffee or tea or juice?" And then I go, "Why?" And then, "Maybe you haven't had breakfast yet," and then I just said, "A hot chocolate will do." And you know what? Because of the hot chocolate, I felt better, even if I know I have a long day ahead of me. And he had the solution. So my point is, it's not really that you're going to be the ingratiating type, meaning in Tagalog, sip-sip. Okay. But the point is, deal with the situation. You know that your team depends on your boss, and your boss needs to be all right so that the team can be at the top of their game. Then help your boss, help each other out. If you see a coworker who is not happy with his job, encourage that coworker. Listen to that office mate. Even if it's online, we need each other. We need to connect. So that is how we handle the stress daily. And you can also have small breaks, like what is mentioned here. Maybe online class is getting down to you. You're so fed up with so many deliverables that your professors are asking you left and right, and your OJT superior also has a deadline. So take a break, breathe in, breathe out, and just let it, set it aside for now. Just, have that very precious break that you really deserve. So we're done with organization, and then planning, delegation, stress management. And I want to ask you now, I want to emphasize to you now how to improve time management again. So set short and long-term goals, manage your calendar, always plan ahead, prioritize your assignments, check which are the urgent ones that are supposed to be submitted. So Stephen Covey, the author of Highly Effective Skills for Successful People, he always mentioned that there are urgent tasks there are important tasks, not urgent, and not important tasks. You have to know which tasks are really urgent and important. They are urgent but not important. They are important but not urgent. So know which is really urgent and important, and ensure that you really follow through with the deadlines that are given to you so that you are right on track. So these are the sources of information about the time management lesson, and that is also available in your week 9 in Canvas. I'll go back to this. So now for your assignment, I want you to open week 9, and you have here a reaction paper for the time management lies video. So you just have to write a 3-paragraph reaction paper on the video. It will just be text entry. I'm giving you 3 days to work on this. And so it's April 5, so this will be due on April 8. I want you to do this for yourself. Be good to yourself and manage your time well so that you will avoid stress like what we have just, or what you have just heard. So that is found in your week 9 assignments, again in modules of Canvas, and the due date is on April 8th. So just to wrap things up for today, that's the lesson about time management. And I hope you will be able to apply this to your day-to-day activities and become the best version of yourself.